In news that will surprise absolutely no one, but yet is still being misreported somehow, we now have 8 Trump staffers who attended the Trump rally in Tulsa on Saturday, or who were there that day. Some of them were actually sent home early because they got the virus, who have tested positive for coronavirus. Remember that on Saturday, we learned that 6 Trump staffers tested positive for coronavirus. Trump was furious that the news got out that they had tested positive. We now got a new statement from the Trump campaign, which says that, quote, after another round of testing for campaign staff in Tulsa, 2 additional members of the advance team tested positive for the coronavirus. These staff members attended the rally, but were wearing masks during the entire event. Upon the positive tests, the campaign immediately activated established quarantine and contact tracing protocols. So in the midst of all of this, 2 Secret Service agents also tested positive for coronavirus. So we have to clarify the misinformation. We've been dealing with this virus now for 4 months that we know of, in reality, even that we knew about even longer in reality. And you're immediately seeing every nonsense reaction that you can imagine from Trumpists and from some other people on the right to this news. So first of all, this line about the last 2 staffers got the virus, even though they wore masks during the entire event. This is causing some people to say, see, look, masks don't even do anything. Masks do work. We have a new study that says the faster countries obtained widespread numbers of masks, the faster they suppressed the spread of coronavirus. Also remember that the rally didn't require masks. So whether masks do or don't work, which they do, the rally goers weren't wearing masks. But the most important element of confusion is that nobody is saying any of these staffers caught the virus at the rally. In fact, 6 of the 8 staffers who tested positive were part of the actually, they were all part of the advance team, but 6 of them left before the rally even started. In other words, clearly they got the virus sometime last week, incubated it for 48 hours, a few days, and then tested positive on Saturday and were sent home. These other 2 staffers, we have no reason to believe that they actually caught this at the rally. Not to mention, they could have caught it in Tulsa, but not at the rally where they were wearing masks and instead somewhere else. We have something called an incubation period. So right away, this is bad news, right? This is more proof the rally shouldn't have happened because the rally didn't require people to wear masks. And you have these low information Trumpists who say, this is proof you don't even need masks because they don't work. No, that's not the right story. That's not the right story at all. Now, what we should be seeing as the takeaway from news that 8 Trump staffers plus 2 Secret Service agents caught the virus around the time of the rally is that the rally was a really bad idea. With 6,200 people there, plus countless staff and law enforcement and others, what are the odds that these 8 people were the only people in the place with the virus that day? Let's grant that these 8 didn't catch it at the rally, because I don't think they did. There are obviously other people who were there that day who also were incubating the virus and they had caught it elsewhere, and nobody was required to wear masks. Now, that being said, no method is 100% foolproof, right? Masks are useful if everybody's wearing them. That dramatically reduces the chance of spread, but it's just a numbers game. If you put 6,200 people indoors, even if they all wear masks, someone is likely to catch the virus through one of those less likely contagion methods. We've learned over the last few months, surface contagion is not that common, right? Early on, there was a lot about sanitizing and bleaching your vegetables and food and boxes of take out all of this stuff. Turns out that the surface contagion is actually quite rare. But if you have 6,200 people together, you can have a 1 in 6,000 incident, and that still means someone catches the virus through a surface contact. Someone takes their mask off for a second and sneezes on a door handle. Someone 15 seconds later opens the door and then has to adjust their mask and touches their eyes, and there you've got it, right? Even a very unlikely event, when you have 6,200 people together, becomes far more likely. This is where the rules come from, or guidelines come from, about it's better if you're not in groups of more than 10. Why? Because with fewer than 10 people, a 1 in 1,000 contagion method is very unlikely to happen. With 6,200 people, a 1 in 1,000 contagion method or risk is likely to now have 6 instances of contagion. I think that most of you sort of understand the math. When will we know the effect of the rally on cases in Oklahoma? We may never know. We have to understand that because unless we get contact tracing news, because cases are exploding in general in Oklahoma, we may never really know the effect of that one rally. As you can see in Oklahoma, we're putting a case chart up on the screen. The cases were already spiking from the day before the rally, and they've continued to spike. It takes about 10 to 14 days to know the full effect of contagion from any particular event. So we may never really know because cases are spiking in Oklahoma in general. Now, some good news from here in Massachusetts. We had the protests against police brutality 2 weeks ago. Almost everybody was wearing masks, and Massachusetts numbers continue to improve. So what we are learning again is the masks do work, which we knew already, and that is reassuring to say the least.